Thetta Li Rhoss Reroma.
And I'm Lushalov Mary Conde, represent to you Portraying Filipino Architecture
In urban setting utilizing local resources
of technology and materials.
Philippines have been struggling for centuries on identifying and establishing its own identity and character in the context of architecture. The Philippines was colonized by a lot of foreign countries, which most of the existing structures are influenced by them. Local developers have tendency to be influenced and may adapt to such designs because of the peculiarity that is new to the eyes or that is intriguing. This had caused countless transformations in terms of social-cultural conditions of the country. They are the remnants of their various cultures.
The pre-colonial period architecture is represented by adapting to the environment, like using the kind of living as the basis of determining a place to live, representing Filipino architecture with local resources as well as technology and material that would help a lot on a new paradigm of design elements, with a touch of tropical ingredient because of the tropical setting of the country. What are the factors to be considered in planning for Filipino architecture? Where can these designs be applied? How can it make a remarkable impact in an urban context?
So, we came up with 3 objectives to provide the answers to that. First, to visualize the existing architectural context. Second, to identify benefits of Filipino architecture in an urban setting. And lastly, to assess the existing materials that are commonly used in designing.
The development is proposed on the distinguished public spaces in the city and mainly in Metro Cebu. The reason for this circumstance is that the site or location is accessible for the researchers' in-depth study.
The selected site are public spaces that best fit the concept for the theory of pursuing cultural relevance when designing, and that we've initiated to design the programming of the following spaces.
These were our design inspirations and sketches for the development of the concept. We have the pavilion structure design inspirations and the initial sketch design. Then the pedestrian bridge and the sun shading structure concept design. We will further keep the details to the following through our layouts of plans and the elevation.
So, we have the pavilion as one of our structures that we've designed in the parks and plaza, which functions as for gathering and resting area. Although this structure was not present at the time with the existing site, we added this to adhere with the need for the people to enjoy and be made use responsibly, especially for a performance area that will be used to hold concerts and programs. The pavilion and sunshade structure was inspired from abaca and pandan material products such as pouches and baskets and locals as they call it bayong-bayong, but the structure is made with mixed use of bamboo and lumber. Then we have another structure that goes with our Fuente Osmeña circle, the pedestrian bridge. It is designed in a circular form to allow the pedestrians to access or cross their desired streets or destinations at one flow rather than having to crossing different highways and separate pedestrian bridges that is commonly designed on a multiple lane highway or on a rotunda, which we thought would be effective for the pedestrian safety and convenience.
This pedestrian bridge, though it differs to the pedestrian bridge that we've designed in the Fuente Osmeña circle, because this bridge was the direct pedestrian bridge in Natalio Bacalso Street with its 6-lane highway. You will notice that the flow of the bridge goes one way or the other, because as we've evaluated the behavior of the users or the commuters, they usually often use this when they desire to get to the other side to ride the jeepneys or those that just arrive at the waiting shed or jeepney stop. The waiting shed, on the other hand, is placed right next to the entrance and exit of the pedestrian because it is effective and that it also serves its purpose more efficiently when arriving commuters need some shading. For the waiting shed idea, it is open and have the warm tone of wood textures and planters on the sides with swiveling backdrop. The patterns are inspired from Bahay Kubo wall structure or the amakan. The same with the waiting shed. The pedestrian bridge also takes form from modern Filipino hut or the Bahay Kubo and incorporate vernacular forms and make extensive use of indigenous materials while stretching the boundaries of contemporary tropical design.
The landscapes designs in the Fuente Osmeña Circle was concepted from Visayan floral design pagusi, a vernacular term for lotus flower which defines the water element because it ribbons the water fountain, which is one of the landmarks of Cebu City. Then there is also built pavilion that could also function as performance area with fabricated lumber sunshade structures.
Here, we have the existing buildings of the Fuente Osmeña Circle, which is commonly surrounded with commercial buildings, hospital and clinics, malls, banks, and fast food restaurants.
The road network goes with Fuente Osmeña Circle as the rotonda that connects with General Masilum Avenue, Osmeña Boulevard, and the B. Rodriguez.
In the Fuente Osmeña Circle and Plaza Independencia, initially from the development of the park takes form from its landscaping of artificial contouring, which is along the grass bed that is best planted with Bermuda grass, and the sloping of its ground that creates a draining system to avoid water residue causing balding in the grass bed. Then along with the spaces are strolling areas with custom-built benches with planters and built sunshade among the paths crossing through the grass bed that is surrounded with a jogging path.
The existing buildings involves hardware corporations, banks, offices, and the 18th century Spanish fort for which is now a museum.
The Plaza Independencia is girded with the MJ Cuenco Avenue, Legazpi Extension, and the Antonio Pigafetta Street. We would like to extend our gratitude to our advisors and mentors and to everyone involved in this study.
Thank you for listening and stay in touch with us.